like I didn't even know girls like wax their buttholes till I think I was like 25. Like I can't
Can
imagine
you
finding that
even
out when
say
you're like,
buttholes? I don't know if you could say that.
you can
Yeah.
say buttholes. You can't say. Hey everyone, welcome to Spill the Chai. I'm Aliya Jasmine
Spill the
here in Los Angeles,
chai.
and we have my girl
Thank.
Sangita Patel over in Toronto.
Look at this.
Oprah,
Oh, Oprah. Like
you're such
we're
a
having a
fangirl.
moment right now. Listen, one of the people I want to meet is Oprah. I saw her like from afar. I've never sat down to interview her. I was this close to interviewing her, and one day it will happen. I believe. I believe.
Oprah's awesome. I love Oprah.
Yeah, I do. She's amazing. She talks about everything and anything, and we are too because
Does
we
Oprah talk
listen to
about
you.
body hair?
Well, she did talk about poop, so I'm sure it came up once
She
in a
did?
while that she talked about. Remember,
Oh,
she's the one who said to you, if your poop is healthy, is when you get the S shape. Remember
I don't remember her saying that. I know that, but I don't. I found that out because I read like this article about German children and how they get educated. I didn't know Oprah said that.
Yeah, Oprah said that on her Oprah show.
Okay,
You're just
we're
like, this
not talking
guy
about
is
medical advice. We're kind of talking a little bit
no.
more about cosmetic advice, but we're gonna right now all over TikTok. Everyone, all these popular videos are coming out with girls talking about body hair, especially brown girls talking about body hair. And we could have used people talking about body hair when we were growing up. So today we are spilling the chai about body hair.
A body hair in the South Asian community. This is a conversation that every generation has had. I've had experiences with my grandmother talking about how to get rid of your hair. I mean, those days they didn't have electrolysis. So my grandma, when I was younger, she would scrub us with a rock and get rid of all the
What kind
exfoliating
of
our skin,
rock?
like very, I don't know. I remember being brown and it was very hard and it was not fun at all. And she never explained this to us why she was doing it. I just had this fear of getting into the tub and her giving us a bath. And now I understand because I didn't have that much hair follicles growing up. And these are things that parents did. Like this is what my grandmother's generation did to kind of take care of their skin to look beautiful. But at the time, she never explained it to me. But this is so interesting, the fact that you bring up TikTok, because yes, there's videos of people talking about how they have to get rid of their hair. They feel this pressure that they have to shave
Mm-hmm.
every week. And you don't feel liberated if you had hair on your body. But the problem with TikTok is these girls are so young that are using
Yes.
TikTok. So if you're 10 years old and you're finding out that you have to shave everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
that's not a good message.
No, like I didn't even know girls like wax their buttholes till I think I was like 25. Like I can't
Can
imagine
you
finding that
even
out when
say
you're like,
buttholes? I don't know if you could say that.
you can say
Yeah.
buttholes. You can't say assholes. They're gonna have to beat that.
Oh, but you can say butthole. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a butt and it's a hole. It's the hole in your. It's there.
I guess so. Okay, fine.
Want me to say poop hole? You wax your poop hole. Is that better? I think you can say, but like anus to me sounds grosser than butthole.
It's like it's as bad as saying moist.
I mean, that's just a really uncomfortable word, but it's true. Like, I think you're totally right. I think it's like girls
Yeah.
are learning so young that they should be ashamed of body hair. And I feel this is a really interesting conversation because it goes beyond just the South Asian community and kind of goes to all girls in general. One of the things that I find super interesting, and I hope everybody notices this, is that we are, as women, we are brought up in a culture where we feel so ashamed of body hair that in commercials of big companies like Gillette and like Nair and all these, Venus, like whatever razor companies, whenever it's a body hair removal commercial, they will never show body hair in the commercial. I mean, body hair is so taboo to
Mm-mm.
look at that in a commercial where they're actually showing somebody like shaving their armpit or shaving their leg, the leg and the armpit are already hairless.
So
Like
that's
that is a
interesting. I
huge,
never noticed that.
it's unbelievable. And I think what that tells us is like it subconsciously tells women that body hair is so unacceptable that we can't even look at it. Like it's not even a choice. We just shouldn't even see it. And I think that's a problem when you're telling that to, I mean, I don't have children, so you step in here, but I think it's a problem when you're telling girls who are really, really young that that
Mm-hmm.
something about them is just innately not okay.
It's so interesting you say that too, because even though I have kids, and I think this is the same thing with you, you think back about your own experiences. Like, what was it like for you at that age? Did that affect me? If my daughter comes to me, she goes, "Hey, I want to get rid of my facial hair," and I think
Mhm.
back to me being her age, I'm like, that's what I wanted. And it all starts with someone making fun of you. It always starts with someone picking at you. And I remember getting
Yeah.
picked on. My arms. It was my arms. I remember it was my arms. Someone said something about my arms being very hairy, and I remember that. And then I thought, oh, I need to start thinking about getting rid of my hair. And I was fairly young, so I did shave myself and I cut myself. I used a bad
Oh,
razor. I remember that experience, and my sister came in and just laughed at me, and that was the end of that conversation. But you do feel the pressure when you go to gym class, when you have to wear shorts, and that's when you realize people are looking at your legs. But when it's everybody at the same time has the same issue, it's okay. It's that one
yeah,
person who says something to you, and that's when everything starts falling apart. So
totally.
I don't know. Like for me, growing up now too, I just feel not that I don't have a lot. So I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of facial hair or body hair, but I feel uncomfortable with it. It almost feels I don't like the feeling of it. So I generally just want to get rid of it. So that's something for me. But
But do
at
you
the
not
same
like the
time, we were
feeling
brought
of
up in a
it? Because,
society.
like, sorry, yeah, go ahead, finish what you were saying.
Yeah, I was gonna say we were brought up in a society thinking that's the way it's supposed to be. So is that the reason I feel uncomfortable having it now? That's the question. Or is it just because I just don't like it, right? It could be either one
Yeah,
of those two, but
or both.
um
I mean, it could be
or
both, right?
both.
And like the thing is, like, I hate the feeling of like hair growing back. Like when you're
Right,
like,
right.
you know that feeling when like okay, we're all in quarantine right now, right? Like I haven't shaved my armpits for 3 days and it starts getting like itchy, and I hate that feeling of like, like that's the worst feeling. But like, would we feel that if we had just all let it go to begin with, like how guys do? Like I don't know if that would have,
I know.
and like the French don't care as much about body. I Here's the thing. I think that women in general have this pressure to not have any body hair. I feel like we all feel that pressure, or to make it look natural that we don't have body hair.
Mhm.
And then South Asian women have an even bigger
Yeah.
stress put on them about that. And I think generally like, and it's not just South Asians, but women with dark hair. And I know a lot of my friends from Middle Eastern have that issue as well, where they have fair skin and dark, coarse hair, and you just see the
Mhm.
hair more, right? Like the arm hair. I got made fun of so much when I was growing up because of my arm hair, so much, and like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
So you can
so
relate. Yeah.
embarrassed. I was so.
Yeah.
I went through years, Sangita, of wearing long sleeve shirts in middle school. Like it was like the
Because of that
middle of
reason.
August and like 32 degrees Celsius, and I was wearing long sleeve shirts because I was so embarrassed to show. Like that's not okay, Like I think
It's
that's
not
really
okay.
sad.
Yeah. And I remember having a friend who had it pretty bad in terms of how much hair she had, right? I don't want to say the word bad, but she had a lot. She did not want it. She wanted to get rid of it. She took her
Yeah.
parents, money and invested in not in school, but in electrolysis for almost a year. At those times, it was very different using the
Wow.
electrolysis in those days. And she would go through these,
It was still like like testing, right? Like it wasn't really
yeah,
like, because I remember at the
yeah.
beginning
It
it
wasn't
wasn't meant for girls with dark skin.
No, and it was a zapping type, right? Like
Hmm.
that's not comfortable at all. So she went through that for a year. So she would go every month to get rid of this hair because she felt so uncomfortable with it. I mean, she had so much. I couldn't really relate to her in that way, but the fact that she did this for beauty reasons because she was picked on it all the time
Hmm.
because of it. It makes me think how sad it is. Everything the girls go through growing up as a teenager, that period of time is so emotional, and your body's changing. Mentally you're not there, and you're just struggling through all of that, and then this on top of all of that, saying you're not, you need to do this to be a pretty
Yeah.
girl. So like it's I don't want that on my kids. And so maybe as a parent, maybe you're right, it's a really good question, because I think maybe I just want to get rid of it so they don't have to deal with it. Maybe I will approach them and say, hey, listen, why don't we get rid of this so you don't have to in the future and not deal with it, right? Maybe that's what I need to do, but is it the right message? I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Maybe it's like, how do you feel about it? Like, do you like it? Do you want to keep it? Like, maybe they like it. I mean, I don't, like, let it be their choice. I also got laser hair removal, and I spent so much money getting. Everyone was talking about how it's like all the rage and like da da da. And one of my friends who's fair skinned, she got it done and she said it worked super well. She got her legs done, never had to shave her legs again. And I was like, oh, this sounds amazing. And so for me, I mean, like, look, like I had grew up with like a full blown mustache. Like I was like, I'm getting rid of this. And as I got older, truth be told, if anyone who's young is watching this, know this, like as I got older, it actually it went super sparse and got lighter.
Yeah.
And I think that happens as you get older. For a lot of people, it's not as your like body hair and facial hair is not as like prominent for women as you are when you're going through puberty or whatever. But yeah, I think like growing up I had such PTSD from like getting made fun of because I had like a mustache, that even though when I got older and that became like a lot more sparse and like I really didn't need to do anything to it anymore, I still was determined to get laser, like electrolysis or laser hair removal on my upper lip. And so I spent all this money to get that done. And you know what happened? It didn't work on me. And not only did it not work, but because I have darker skin, it actually like hyperpigmented, and it took a really like my actual
No.
skin turned darker, because a lot of these laser hair removal clinics are like meant for people who are white. And I
Yeah.
really think it's scary when you don't have this kind of open dialogue. People are so embarrassed about their body hair and their facial hair and stuff. And I feel like if you don't have this open dialogue within our community, you're going to have girls like me who go to like laser hair removal clinics and have a white nurse who has never dealt with dark skin do it on you, and you're going to get darker. And like, that's scary. Like it took years for that pigment to go away. So I think that like it's really important, I think, that we're able to like be honest about this and realize that. That's why I love those TikTok videos, because it's like if you read the comment section, it's like all these other girls who are like, I'm dealing with it, like I have the same issue. And I think it's like cool that we all know that like we're all kind of like, hair for brown girls is a thing, and like we're all going to deal with it, and like here are the best ways to deal with it, and then we can move forward from there. So I don't know,
Yeah.
how old were you when you started shaving and waxing?
I think that comment was made probably when I was 13, as I remember, and that's when it all started. And once you start, you can't stop, right? Once
Yeah.
the hair starts growing, you're like, I need to go back to
No,
that.
because it looks so much worse when it grows.
Yes, it's exactly what it's like. That TikTok video, she says every week you had to consistently get used to doing that. And one of the things I did, actually, I used to have sideburns at the side here, all the way
You
down
did?
here. I did. And
That's
then someone
common. It's really common.
very common. And so someone recommended just start pushing your hair back. So I started pushing my hair back, and this is what happened. So like even those little rules that I was taught younger, it kind of helped with the situation of just kind of figuring it out. But I think I do find hair embarrassing, actually, to be honest.
I do find it. I find it totally embarrassing too. Like
yeah.
There's like a few things that I would do. So like, I actually felt like, so I had a really close girlfriend who was a brown girl as well, and she was a fair skinned brown girl, like one of my best friends growing up, and she found it really embarrassing because her skin was so fair. She actually like had just like what any white girl would say is like peach fuzz, like on your stomach. Like I think that's everyone's got peach fuzz, but hers was dark hair, and so she was like. I remember like she just would not, all the things we would do in high school where we would just like, all go swimming together, or like she would just not want to do any of those things. And so I think there's different ways, like as a brown girl, that you're growing up and you deal with like, so for me, like my three things were, okay, waxing, shaving, bleaching. And I went through a whole Nair phase, because I don't know if any of your moms are like
Oh
this,
my
but
gosh,
my brown
Nair.
Right?
Oh,
my grandma was
yes.
like, you are not using a razor until you're 19 years old. So between when I was like 15 and 19, I had to like smelly Nair. Like I had to use Nair on everything. My mustache, my arms, my legs. Like I was like, I kept
The
Nair
smell's
in
coming back right now.
business.
Yeah. Oh, that's so gross. I remember Nair. Nair was, and then it came out with the strips. The strips were okay, but the cream itself was disgusting. I think I went through the same phase as you as well. But I was scared to wax because I didn't know how to wax. My skin was sensitive to that as well. So I don't know, like everything. I don't know.
Thread? See, I've never threaded anything.
I did, yeah. My eyebrows, I did threading, thinking it was better for your eyebrows, but it's not. Actually, it was a big mistake I made because it's not growing back now. But
I saw a YouTube video and it really upset me. When I was actually like, I was looking stuff up before we chatted today, and there was a
mhm,
YouTube video, and it was just like this, like, a girl in her home, whatever town she lived in, whatever country she lived in, she's a brown girl, and she was giving her personal beauty secret. So I'm not going to say her name, but she was very much like promoting the fact that she had like hair right here, like darker hair here and on her upper lip, and she razored it. She used a razor and just shaved it, and she's like, this is the best thing you can do. It's good. It'll exfoliate. And I'm like, are you like, that's just
the
you
peach
have to be.
shaver thing. I seen that, right? That
No,
little razor
she
one.
used like an actual razor to shave. And here's the
Oh,
thing is like, I know for a fact that that is like the worst thing that you can do for your hair on your face, because it's going to grow back thicker, and it's going to create what like Fred Flintstone has, that like 6 o'clock shadow or 5 o'clock shadow, whatever it's called, like on your skin. Like, don't women don't use that on your skin. And so if you do want to like take any hair off your face, be careful, like talk to a
yeah.
professional and find out what the best thing for you is. Because like for me, waxing my like upper lip was the best thing for me. And for you,
Hmm.
like you're saying that you were too sensitive for that, right?
Too sensitive for that. So threading, I used to do threading here as well. So I had like just a little bit on the sides, but I did that and that and
Me
that
too.
with
I have the
threading, and
little
that
like
was
Fu Manchu, like right
yeah,
here,
right
like
here.
the yeah. Me too.
I know, collects the milk when you drink milk. I think coming out of this, talking to you about it, I'm learning that I think this is a conversation that every parent's going to have with their daughters. I think this is still a thing right now. I don't think it's going to go away where it's going to be like, okay, let's just be hairy for the rest of our lives. Maybe out of isolation, maybe everyone will be like that.
Mhm.
But I think it's more of trying to figure. And yeah, I think you said it right. Is that educate yourself on how you're going to do it. Make
Mhm.
sure you don't do the mistakes we've made, and there's new ways of doing hair removal now. Teach yourself about that.
Yeah.
And
Don't believe
that even that
everyone
TikTok video.
online. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Find the right way of doing it. And if you want to do it, do it. I know a woman who said once her daughter gets her period that she is going to automatically make her get rid of all of her hair, because she doesn't want her daughter to deal with what she went through as a kid. So that's a decision the mother made for the daughter. I don't know how the daughter feels about it, but that's a decision she made for her. So I mean that's taking your own experience onto your kid, but is she helping her by not being embarrassed, not going through? It seems like all of us have dealt with it, like even you and myself, and we didn't
Yeah.
have that much thick hair, right? So do we
No.
do
So
that?
okay,
Do we just, I don't
and
know.
not to get like, I don't want to get too serious about it, but just to pose this question and like think about it.
Hmm.
When like, there's a lot of women who don't like their noses, right? And then they get nose jobs and they do it for themselves because it makes them feel better.
Right.
And they have every right to do that. It helps their own confidence. When they have a kid and the kid grows up with their nose, their original nose, are you gonna now be like, I'll pay, like before the kid even hates her own nose, and you say like, I'm gonna pay for your nose job? Are you not instilling that, right? Like, are you not like giving that kid a sense of like
I
insecurity?
know.
I'm just
I
like,
know. It's
okay,
a good question. Is this you do? Do you let your kids go through the pain that you went through as a kid, knowing that they will get picked on because this is something that's still happening?
mhm,
Or do you just fix the problem so they don't go through it?
mhm.
It's a really good
I
question. I mean, I
know.
can't talk to my kids about sex. So like,
Okay, I have a
yeah,
question for you.
yeah.
Do you have any funny or traumatic hair stories?
Oh my gosh. Can I share it? I don't even know if
Yeah,
I can.
yeah, you can.
No, I can't.
Yeah, you can.
No, I can't. So no, I can't. So the first, I didn't know you didn't have to do the whole thing. Like there are people who do the strip and they have different designs. I had no clue, so I just did the whole thing, and then I got bumps from it, so I didn't take care of it. Like it was so painful to walk, and I remember I went with nowhere because it was so painful. The friction between the skin, nowhere, so hard for me.
Oh my
And this is
God.
This was university, my first year of university. And I was learning this experience, and I had no clue what I was doing.
Oh, so you were the girl in first year university with a completely naked cooch and not wearing underwear to class under a dress.
It was so painful.
I know I became like the class slut, and you had no idea. Everyone's like, that's Sangita. She shaves her entire cooch and doesn't wear underwear to Psych 101.
In engineering too, where it's 90% guys. I had no idea what I was doing. I still remember that experience because I went to the gym and I'm like, I can't wear the underwear. This is too painful. So that was okay. What's your story?
Oh my God, that's so funny. Okay, so
it's so bad.
So I have two. One is like probably the most traumatic story when I was 8 years old, and I had like a unibrow, glasses, braces, and a full mustache. I mean, like I looked like a pubescent boy, like in every way. And I loved Michael Jordan, so I always wear like Michael Jordan hats. So yeah, I mean, like the probably most traumatic thing is looking at pictures of myself as a kid.
Oh my gosh.
But the funniest story I have is when I was I think it was the year before I graduated high school. I went to Taiwan for the summer because I was dating this guy who's like teaching English there or some random thing. And so I went there for the summer, and we went on a trip through Taiwan and Thailand. And we went to this, it was like like the Nordique spa or whatever, like spas that you can go to there. So this is before they were really common in North America. Like this is like the year, like this is like 1999. This is like before the 2000s. So they really were, that kind of like spa treatment was really just something that was like foreign, and it was very, very prevalent in Asia. And so we were in I think we were in Taiwan, and he brought me to this place where like guys went on one side and girls went on the other side, and you kind of were in this like grotto thing with all the girls, and you like go naked, right? Because it's just like hot baths and like all these different kinds of baths and like waterfalls, and like it's really beautiful. But all the girls are with the girls and all the boys are with the boys. And I was like, sure. But like, first of all, I'm like 19, I'm still a virgin, and I like was so excited to like go to like see my boyfriend that I like got advice from people here, and like you was like, okay, I'm gonna go, like it's all gone, we're taking it all off, and like I'm so excited to like
that's all you know. Yeah.
So, and I'm like, anyways, this might be TMI for our YouTube channel.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't know.
We can decide if we put it up. But I walk in, so I'm so excited. What I didn't realize is that Taiwan is a pretty homogeneous culture in the sense that like a lot of the girls there are used to seeing like body types that look like their own. And so I walk out into this area, and I'm like so excited, and everybody just stopped talking and stared at me. And like little girls were like staring at me, and older women were like, and I was like, I felt all these people staring at me, and I realized it was because like I have like natural double D boobs. B, I'm like brown skin and like, big eyes and like big hair. And then like, also I was like fully hairless, like my entire body was hairless. And there it's very natural. So the women have like hair in their armpits, hair on their legs, full bush. I mean, it's very natural. So I walked out as this like naked, big boobed baby. I was like so embarrassed. It was just such a hair removal taboo. I was just such a
Oh my gosh, that's the best. I love that. So we went through almost a very similar situation. I mean, you were in a spa, and me, I was in class. But we didn't know what we were doing.
We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know what we were doing. Yeah. So we got a lot of questions about brown girl hair because there are a lot of issues. Different girls, depending on like their skin color and their hair thickness and coarseness, like deal with hair issues. And this goes well beyond the South Asian community, but we know it's an issue within the South Asian community. And there are issues like hair on your upper arms, hairy arms, hair on your hands, on your toes, on your back, on your stomach, like here, like it's a
everywhere.
big issue. So what are your let's do like a bit of a hairy girl guide. What are your biggest hair removal like tips?
At this age, it's hard for me to grow hair right now, but when I was younger, it was either I was shaving or threading, but waxing was very hard for me too because the skin was so sensitive. But again, it comes down to the conversation of what you're comfortable with. I remember
Mhm.
I didn't like shaving my thighs. I just left my thighs hairy. I'm like, no one's gonna see that. So I went up to the kneecap and that was it. But again, it's finding the right research of what's right for you, and I
Mhm.
think there's a lot of new technology out there for skin color like ours, where it does work. So try to look into that. But yeah, I still don't know what's the right thing to do. I just shave still. Shaving's not the
Yeah.
greatest option, but it's easy
If it works for
peasy. You
you, yeah.
go in there, yeah. And I love my husband's razor. But I use this
Men's razors are
the
the best. They're
time
the best.
because it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
right. It's the
Yeah, the
triple one.
double.
I'm like,
Yeah.
just one line, I'm done.
And
I'm
you
like,
can use
why
it
is it
so
women's like that?
smooth.
I
It's
know,
like,
I know,
right?
I know. Anyways, but I mean, yeah. So, and then when I go on vacation, I like literally get rid of everything when I'm on vacation. So
Yeah.
that's, when I'm home, I don't, but when I'm, yeah, yeah, do what feels good. You?
My tips are, I think that for anything you have here, I mean, I don't have anything here now because I'm going to say this again. I feel like I grew out of a lot of my hair. It's odd, but
Same
something
here.
happened in my
Yeah.
20s where I just didn't have it. But all this hair here, I think, don't shave it. I know that there's so many videos out there where people tell you to shave it. It will always grow back. It'll grow back thicker. Mine just went away after a few years. I would say bleach this, if anything. Um, I
Oh,
like
that's
to
a good option. Yeah.
right? I like to wax. And I did the same thing as you. I used to always just go like this.
Push
And
back.
mine
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
suddenly
Push
like,
everything back.
yeah, yeah, push your hair back. And then I have
Yeah.
all
Same
these like,
here.
now my sideburns are just part of my hair. Um,
Yeah.
I wax here. I always have. I don't really do my eyebrows are really thin, so I don't do anything to my eyebrows. I shave. I just think shaving is the easiest. You've heard of the pink tax?
What's that?
The pink tax is this like it might just be for like menstrual stuff. I might be using this too much as a broad umbrella term, but I think it's to refer to the amount of money women spend on maintenance that men don't have to spend. And
Oh, wow.
it's like,
Yeah.
so the pink tax. And so my whole thing about this is like, don't spend so much money on these stupid social standards that are being inflicted on us. Like, do what you need to do what you need to feel good, but don't like spend your whole budget on it. And so for me, I
Hmm.
agree with you. I shave, like I shave my legs, I shave my armpits, I shave my arms. And I don't have a lot of hair, but I don't like it. So I just shave
Hmm.
everything. And
Hmm.
yeah, and I think that's like the best thing you could do. I do have friends who had hair on their fingers and they really, really didn't want, like when they wore rings and stuff, to have anything there, even though you couldn't really notice it, they didn't like it. And so they all got electrolysis done or laser hair
Oh,
removal done.
interesting.
And I think that's super smart because you don't want to have to like wax or nair or do anything to like your hands or your toes. So like,
Yeah.
because then when it grows back, it's probably gross. And I actually just found, instead of waxing my bikini line, I found this really amazing place near my house here in Santa Monica that use bees honey. And it's like this, like a wax made out of honey, like bees honey, and it's super good for sensitive skin. So you get no bumps, you get like none of that, but it works in the
Really?
same way as wax, where it gets thinner, your hair gets thinner over time. So
There
I
you
used to
go.
like,
I just learned something new too.
it's so good. And you know,
Wait,
I
let me
used
see
to
your
wax,
arms right now.
I used
Let me
to
see
wax
your.
my arms, and it's just too much work.
Yeah, I got a little bit. Okay. Yeah, yeah, we're the same.
Yeah.
We're the same. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
good.
So I didn't used to do anything to my arms, but when I got surgery on my like, you can see this, my scars, like on my elbow after
Hmm.
my car accident. And then what happens is when you get like surgery, like they sewed me all up and put like a metal elbow. Where you get surgery, you grow hair. Like when your skin is like healing, your like follicles, like it's like you get really hairy just around your like stitching site.
I didn't
And
know
so I
that.
had like no hair on my arms, and then I would all of a sudden, like I had no hair on my arms, and I would all of a sudden have like a really hairy like right here, and I hated it. So that's why I just started shave. I was just like, screw it, I'm just gonna like shave, and I started shaving my
That's
arms.
amazing. I had no idea. I just learned something new. That's
Yeah,
crazy. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think
So
this is a really good topic. We want to hear from you and your thoughts and your experience growing up with it. I mean, everyone has some type of struggle, some way when it comes to
yeah.
body hair, especially as a South Asian woman, and all different cultures, right? But we want to hear what your thoughts are. Even if you're a parent with a daughter, like what would you do? Would you avoid from them having the experience and just get rid of it? Like, what is the right thing to do? But this was a very interesting topic. Thanks for letting us know. I'm glad we can talk about it.
Yeah. And guys, like share your tips. Like
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of like women who are struggling with what they do, and we probably didn't cover everything. Like we told you what we do, but like if you have any tips if you deal with
Hmm.
like body hair that you think could help other women, like put them in our comments below, because I know like my friend I was talking to you about earlier who had like that peach fuzz on her stomach, like I feel like she could
Yeah.
have she was like it really really hurt her self-esteem. So if you guys
Yeah.
can help each other and like share your comments, do that below.
Subscribe below, and we want to hear from you as well. And you can also find us somewhere else. Where's that, AJ?
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, so make sure that you subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and rate and review us there as well. And yeah, we will talk to you wherever you are, in your car, at the gym. Be hairy, be happy. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Bye.